I'll see you guys in the dark.
What's up, Stalkers of the Night? I know you guys have asked if I have any merchandise, and I had a buddy of mine draw out a couple of concepts, and I liked one of them. I plan on getting more of them sooner or later, but if you guys want to check out the merchandise that I currently have available, the link will be in the description below. Right now I'm going to work on just t-shirts, maybe a coffee mug, and if I can find it on the website, I'm going to probably do a mouse pad as well. If you guys have any ideas on what you would prefer to see, let me know, and I will post a link in the description below.
So I've been a cosplayer for about 4 years, and actually attending conventions for around that time. I'm 17, a girl, and I've been told that I'm decently attractive. During this event, I was dressed up as Katori from Love Live, so my skirt was admittedly a little short. Cut to the actual con. I'd been there for a couple of hours, and after a mix-up with my badge registration, I was already on edge. Luckily, one of my friends had spotted me in the crowd and pulled me over to them and their group, and we decided to grab a coffee from the hotel cafe. After a few minutes, I noticed a guy staring at me from the corner of my eye. This is normally for cons. You'll always have people looking or asking you for photos, but with him, I felt deeply unsettled. Trying to convince myself that it was just nerves from earlier, I turned away and rejoined the convention with my friends. After a good 20 or so minutes, we were done and ready to head upstairs to the vendor's hall. I still have that unsettling feeling, so I glanced behind me. He's still there. To give a visual, this guy is around my height, 5'7", maybe a little taller. He's stocky, Asian, and dressed like I believe was poorly executed rendition of Joseph Joestar. And he's just staring at me. Feeling even more nervous, I grabbed onto my friend's back and followed the group down the hall and up the escalator. As we get off, I look behind me again, and he's on one of the bottom stairs of the escalator, camera out and pointed towards me. I'm starting to get upset now. My friends haven't noticed him yet, and I didn't want to make a fuss quite yet, as I'm not a confrontational person, so I kept this to myself. We entered the vendor's hall. Great, I think to myself, we can definitely lose him here. Wrong. As we turn down the aisles of the crowded vendor's hall, I can still feel his eyes boring holes into my back wherever we turn. At this point, I'm less nervous and more angry that he's been making me uncomfortable. I decided it was time to tell my group that I've been seeing this guy since we were downstairs, and they all agree to try to lose him. We decided to go to the second level of the con, where we could find panels, as well as the security booth. I moved from the back of the group to the center, and I feel slightly relieved that he's not directly behind me anymore. We run into another friend on that level, Max, a short but intimidating guy who's immediately pissed off about the creep who's been following me. At this point, we're all tired, and we decide to head down to the lobby and hang out until it's time to part ways. I haven't seen this guy in maybe 45 minutes or so I'm a little more relaxed. Downstairs, someone breaks out their cards, and we play Uno, mostly dicking around anyways. However, 15 minutes into the game, I see a flash out of my peripheral vision. Instinctively, I turn around, and my heart drops into my stomach. It's the man again. My friends notice too, and they all glare at him. Max jumps out of his seat and stands there, staring at the guy. The creep is ignoring them all, making eye contact with me, camera still pointed at me. I get up too, and pull my friend Jane up with me. Enough is enough, I decided. Jane and I leave the rest of the group downstairs with the guy, and head up to the second floor security booth. I gave my statement to the apathetic officer, who sort of brushes me off. He told me to just avoid him, like I haven't been doing that all day. Jane is obviously pissed at this too, and offers to drive me back to my hotel so I don't have to deal with this creep anymore. I oblige, and the rest of the night went without incident. The second to last day of the con, I see this guy again. This time, instead of following me around and taking photos, he decides to approach me. I was with Max at the time, and he noticed the guy walking up to us and tenses up. The guy reaches for one of my hands, and I take a step back, trying to avoid him as much as possible. He looks at me, mumbles something about wanting to do me, and walks away as Max and I head back to the security desk. Of course, they did nothing again. I ended up catching the con plague that night anyways, and leaving early on the last day, so I don't know what happened to the guy. What bothers me the most is how calm this guy was. It was like he had no emotion whatsoever. Maybe he had done this before? I've had my fair share of other convention creeps, but this one stands out as it was so recent, and how he kept following me around for what seemed like forever. I have another convention coming up in January, and I'll be pissed as hell if I see him again. So, convention creep, let's not meet again. I'm an art student looking to become an animator in the gaming or film industries. One of my teachers suggested I apply to be a student volunteer at SIGGRAPH this year. Since it was being held in our city, I applied, but I didn't think I'd get in. A few months later, I got an email back welcoming me to AMC SIGGRAPH family and detailing what I could expect as an SV. I was so happy. This was a huge opportunity for me. I can get to meet all kinds of students like me from around the globe and get the chance to mingle with professionals in my chosen industries. The contacts I would make. I got a full conference pass and didn't have to pay a dime. It was so worth it. As a whole, the convention was awesome, and I did meet a lot of great people, both students and industry vets. And I got to see some really cool emerging technology, learn from a lot of informative technical paper sessions, and see a sneak peeks of upcoming movies. It was my last day that I was working at the convention. I had one of the early shifts, so I had to get there very early. It was 7 a.m., and I was walking towards the convention center with my coffee in hand. I was wearing my SV shirt because my shift started at 7:30. We were told shirt equals working, so if we're wearing it and someone approaches us, we were to be polite and helpful. As I walked up the steps, a middle-aged balding man approached me. He had the lanyard around his neck, which signified him as a convention attendee. He called out to me, so I stopped and politely greeted him. It started off innocently enough. He was asking questions about the convention, asking what the must-see things were in my opinion. General information I was happy to provide. Then he started asking more personal questions. Was I from here? Where did I go to school? What was I studying? Etc. My badge had my name printed on it. He complimented me for having a beautiful name, told me it matched my face. I was a bit uncomfortable, but thanked him for the compliment and went to turn around and leave. He moved himself in front of me and got a bit too close for my comfort. He was smiling lopsidedly, his nicotine-stained teeth right in front of my nose. You know what I love about conventions? He asked. No, what? I replied. What happens at a convention stays at a convention. My skin started to crawl. Don't you think it's exciting to lead a secret life apart from your husband or wife? I had mentioned I was married when he was asking his questions about me, so I was really skeeved out. I said something like, "That's not really my thing." He put his hand on my arm and started rubbing it up and down. Why don't you come walk with me for a while? I recoiled like his hand was made of molten metal. His smile instantly turned into a look of contempt. I said, I have a shift to do. Enjoy your time at SIGGRAPH. And I booked it out of there immediately. I was really shaken. I told one of the girls I was working with what had happened. She told me that one of the industry parties the night before, a bunch of SVs had gone together and were dancing. A large group of old men leered at them, hollered and catcalled, and asked them to dance at the tables. I don't know why I was so surprised by that. These attendees were overwhelmingly men from all different parts of the world, and industries that are involved in SIGGRAPH tend to cater to more, shall we say, socially awkward type of person. Still, creeped me right the hell out. When I first went to college, I joined a Facebook group for World of Warcraft players in Massachusetts. None of my friends were really into the game. I'm a girl. Girls don't really play games. And wanted to find other people to play with. Got a message from some guy named Chris. A typical nerdy dude. Glasses, very short hair. Probably a little under 300 pounds. He started looking all on my Facebook photos and commenting flirty yet creepy stuff on my profile pictures, like, what a cutie, I'd love to cuddle with you, etc. Which caused my family and friends to be like, who is this? Eventually he stopped, and I forgot about him, so I never got around to deleting him off my friends list. Anyway, so that's the backstory. About a year later, PAX East was coming up, and I waited till the last minute to get tickets. Everything was sold out. Couldn't find a ticket to save my life, so I posted on Facebook, "Hey, anyone have extra PAX tickets?" Sure enough, Chris commented on saying he had one. I was super excited, sent him a message asking if he could mail it to me. Instead, he was like, "No, let's hang out. I'll take you out to dinner, and I'll give it to you then." Now, for some reason, I didn't consider any meeting stranger from the internet precautions. I was so desperate to go to this convention that I was like, screw it. I gave my friends the guy's name, phone number, and Facebook just in case something went wrong, and I made sure the place he took me to for dinner was very close by. So, that Friday, he picked me up at my dorm. When I walked out, he got out of the car and hugged me and opened the door for me, which is fine. I can dig that, I guess. It wasn't until we were waiting in line to get food when he puts his arm around me. And I was just like, and I didn't know how to react. Suddenly, Chris puts his arm down and turns to the guy behind us and yells, "What do you think you are doing? Are you looking at my girl's butt? This is my girlfriend, not yours." And then slapped my butt. I was freaking horror struck, but I still hadn't received the stupid ticket. I could tell this guy wasn't a crazy serial killer, just a very lonely man. I apologized to the guy behind us and told Chris not to slap my butt ever again, and that I wasn't his girlfriend. After we ate, on the ride home, we almost got into a car accident, and I was so ready to be rid of this guy. But at this point, I had the ticket in my purse. Suddenly, his hand is on my leg at the red light. What the heck? I looked at him and was like, "Please don't touch me. We are not romantically involved." When we got to my dorm, he was like, "I brought some DVDs. Do you want to cuddle and watch some of them?" I told him no, sorry, I have homework. Goodbye. Opened the car door. But wait, please, let me come in. Again, I told him no, sorry, I really need to get some stuff done. Well, okay, I'll come in and help you. Then he starts parking the car. Eventually I just jumped out of the car and ran up to my dorm, closing the door behind me. Running into my friend's room, closing that door behind me, locking it, and curling into a fetal position on their futon. The guy texted me several times over the next week, but I ignored all of them, blocked him on Facebook, and never heard from him again. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell for notifications on future videos, and become a stalker of the night. And I'll see you next time.